What's up, everyone? It's KB, and I love movies. This is the spooky season, so welcome to October. Welcome to this, I still don't believe, this daunting task of 31 days and 31 conversations. And we're going to try to have fun with this. So, as we get started, tell someone I'm coming to you right now from a undisclosed location in Minneapolis. So no two screens, no camera, no beautiful mic in front of me. I got the old school right here. So I've never done this on my camera. So this is going to be really cool and really interesting. And I just hope I stay online. But to get us started tonight, um, I invited a new guest to the conversation. And what we'll do throughout the month is we'll have some returning guests and we'll also have some new guests. So we'll start off tonight with a new guest. This is a podcast that I've been listening to for about 2 years. And as we get started, I'll tell a little story about how I found it twice. But a great guy to listen to. He knows his stuff. And when I was thinking about doing this, I was like, yeah, I got to have him on. So joining us tonight, we have Matt from the Scary Movie Podcast Project.
Yes,
Scary Movie Project Podcast. That's a mouthful, man.
it is, isn't it? It's a lot of P's and stuff in there, right?
Yeah. How's it going tonight?
What's going on, KB? How you doing, man? It is good to be on this show. Thank you for having me. I'm gonna do my best to ramble about scary stuff. You had some pretty interesting stuff you wanted to talk about, so
Yeah.
I am here to talk scary stuff with you because it's October 1st, right? So let's go.
Yeah. It's official. If you weren't doing, I was doing it since August, to tell you the truth.
I'm doing it every day, so it doesn't really.
You're living it 24/7. But as far as like preparing for these next 31 days, I'm doing the math on it. I'm like,
A task.
yeah, up to 5 movies, 31 days. We're looking at 150 watches and rewatches if I'm serious about this. And I'm like, I don't think I could pull this off, but we're going to try to. That's a good thing.
It'll be great.
So this is pretty much like most of my conversations. I like to start with a non-movie question, and then we're going to focus on kind of like 5 takes like we normally do at the end of a conversation, but spend a little time talking about some movies because to us, movie fans and horror movie fans, that's what spooky season is all about. So I people that know me know what's on the other side of my hat, but I was surprised to see your shirt today. So as a New York Yankees fan, I am asking you, tell us the story behind the shirt.
Yeah. So, well, I guess it's a good and bad story. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
a huge Red Sox fan, right? So, today's the last day of the regular season. We're not going to the playoffs. It's okay, but I got to rep the gear one last time. And heavy-hearted, a lot of you that follow baseball, Tim Wakefield, Red Sox pitcher on both World Series 2004 and 2007, passed away today.
Yeah.
So kind of rough, kind of sad as a fan today. Prayers and everyone to his family out there and everything. But yeah, last time I'll wear the gear, I guess, for the year and put it back in the closet. So, hey.
Yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace to him. He caused problems when he would come in. He was a lefty, right? If I remember
He
correctly.
was a righty knuckleballer, and don't forget.
Yeah, that's what it
You
was.
should never forget him because Aaron Boone hit that home run off of him in that bottom of the 12th inning in the 2003 ALCS in Game 7. You guys did that.
I'm sorry. Did you forget his middle name, Mr.
Well,
Red Sox fan?
I don't really. You know what? He got his blown out his knee the next year playing pickup basketball, so he got his karma. So yeah.
Yeah. But that was a moment. That was a moment. Yeah, that's right. He was a knuckleball pitcher. But yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
some
That's right.
anytime you had like any kind of relief or middle relief pitchers that would come in and they did something like off brand, it was just so awkward, especially once you get to like middle of the lineup. Your power hitters are behind you. You got your utility players coming up. You're like, oh man, this is going to be a 3 up, 3 down easily.
I mean, he had his own catcher. He had his own catcher because that knuckleball. It was so interesting. He was, so unique in that. Yeah.
hmm hmm Well, before we lose the sports ball fans,
Right.
let's talk some movies. So, as I mentioned, Scary Movie Project is a podcast, and I briefly mentioned in the beginning we were talking about it backstage how
Twice, right?
yeah I discovered your podcast twice. Did it start out just as audio, or did you always have some video component to it?
No. My former co-host and I, we started at audio at first, and then we after really just not many episodes, we got a couple into it and realized, we should probably make video with it to kind of, give more to the audience out there.
Hmm.
So it was by the maybe 10th episode or so we had video with it, I guess. I don't think we waited too long.
Yeah. So the way it happened for me is that those of you that know, I'm a big Nightmare on Elm Street fan. I'm a Fredhead, and I'm always looking for content. If I'm in the car, I'm looking for a podcast where I can listen to, something about music or something about, sports or something about Nightmare on Elm Street. And that's how I found the Scary Movie Project originally. So I guess Tara was your producer.
He was my former co-host.
Oh, okay. And she had never seen Nightmare on Elm Street before. So I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. I mean, even the podcast is known for being a very spoiler rich area.
Pretty much what we do.
Yeah.
So it's like if you look at the title and you say, hey, I haven't seen this movie before, it's up to you if you decide to just continue listening and just go along with it. But it was nice to hear a first time perspective after, pretty much seen it since the 80s in my case. And then the second time is when my friend Lisa, Horror Macaroni, shout out to you.
Yeah,
Hopefully
she was
get her back
awesome.
on again.
Yes, we love her.
When she was coming on the conversation, I always try to come up with unique questions and do my research, especially if it's the first time someone's on. And she was on this video podcast. So I started watching it. And, the host is hitting her with interesting questions, keeping the conversation going back and forth. It's stuff I like. It took me a while to realize that was you.
This is the same jerk that I heard before, right? What's going on?
He's on my subscription list over on Apple Podcasts. Hey, his voice sounded familiar.
That's funny.
So it is fun. And, I'm always looking forward to the next episode. I have a podcast myself with my co-host Kate, but life gets in the way, and we're always looking for the next opportunity to see a movie and talk about it and get content together. So, and now we're just starting to record the podcast as a YouTube live stream. So
Good.
It's fun.
Yeah,
It's fun.
It is fun.
Especially if you love talking movies. So it's definitely a good one. Well, as always, we're not alone. And this is going to be an exercise in futility for me. But I'm going to try to read the comments real quickly as we go through without dropping my phone and taking us offline and everything. So
Do it, man.
let's see who's joining us. So we have Emmett saying happy first month for spooky season. Thank you, sir. My man Gunchi saying hello to us. He's in Taiwan.
All right.
We got my man Jodo. What's up? What's up? He's going to be coming up in a few days as a guest.
Good.
We got best friend Melissa saying happy spooky season. Happy spooky season to you, dear. Thank you for joining us. We got Tony P. What's up, my man? He's also a Red Sox fan. You guys should bond.
It's a good thing.
He's up there. He's a masshole, so he's up there.
There we go.
We got Nathan Jones in the house. Well, howdy to you, sir. We got Michael saying hi. We got my man E. What's up? Zombie Daddy. He's also coming up later on in the month. Look forward to that. Gunchi saying hi to you, Matt. Boom, boom, boom. Everyone saying hi to each other. Love saying that. Mega Mike in the house. Another future guest coming on. If I see you in the chat and you're a guest, I'm just telling everybody. Don't care. Another masshole. We got Mizzy in the house. They're loving the Red Sox jersey. Gotta love that. We got the monkey. He normally does intros to me. I didn't see it in time, monkey. Says, hope your trees get no TP. as the tubers do a handful, your tail on 31, a great example of what makes you number one. So he's a listener. Look at that. Who else? I just jumped to the bottom, which is always fun on your phone. Yeah, sports ball is good. If you know, you know. We got Tiana in the house. What's up, dear? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We got Mika in the house. What's up, sis? She'll be joining us tomorrow. I'll also bring that up later on. We got Corey. Who else we got? We got cool kid Johnny in the house. What's up? Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us for the first one.
Video background. I like that.
What's that?
With the Blockbuster video background there behind you.
Yeah, he's
kinda nice.
he's old school, man. He's old school. I love it. We got my favorite fish in the house saying hey hey. Cheers to a great stream. Thank you, my friend. Always good to see you. So, the way we're going to do this is going to be a little bit different. We normally go through like a litany of questions and everything, but this is going to work, like I said before, more like a 5 takes, which is what I ask at the end of every conversation. But it's going to have a little bit of a spooky season lean on it. So I'm ready to get started if you are.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. I like the attitude. Let's see. Let me get back. All right. So we're going to start by asking Matt. First question here. Name the horror movie that made you fall in love with the genre.
Okay. All right. I think it's going to be 2, right? Well, yeah, it'll be 2 if I can remember. I remember watching, I want to say Friday the 13th Part 3 when I was like a real little kid. I remember going like in the summer. I didn't have camp, but I would go. My mom was cool. She would let me go to the video store and rent all the horror films, right?
Yeah.
And I'd watch movies during the day, and that was back when some of these, Friday the 13th were starting to come on video. I'm not going to date myself here, but some of them were on video. And I remember renting those, being a little kid and watching these. Little kid, like I was like 10 or something.
Yeah.
But what I really remember though is being 12 or 13 maybe, and back in the day, ABC would play this late night Saturday night movie, right? And like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock movie. And I remember turning on, now you can guess this, but I'll explain it. I remember turning on a movie real late and seeing a scene where a woman walked up to a typewriter and kept seeing everything written the same. And you know what movie I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So I watched part of it and was mesmerized. I don't know what it was. And I had to go back and like the newspaper, because you had to read the paper. Do you remember, to see what was on TV?
Yeah.
And it was some movie called The Shining. And I remember renting it. I must have rented that movie so many times. I remember I would rent that movie sometimes on a weekend, and I would watch it literally 5 times in a weekend. I would just watch it over and over and over. And I was like, I don't know, 12 years old probably or something. And I mean, those two just stick out to me. And from there, it was just the rest is history, as they always say, right? I think those two stand out.
Yeah. And the thing is, at the time, you probably had no understanding of what it was about besides, kind of like what we say, the face value of what we see.
Yeah, because I had to watch The Shining, I had to rent it then to watch it to finally get it, because I had only seen those parts like late at night. I didn't know what it was. Yeah.
It's amazing. Like everyone who grew up in that mom and pop video store era, they did not care about us. The owners of those stores, what? Don't tell your dad.
Right.
And the stack of rated R movies that we'd be able to take out.
Well, that's what I always said. I was telling Lisa on the program we had her on was, I remember I loved the 99-cent horror rentals. You could go in with $5 and get like 4 movies. You'd be good to go for a couple of days.
And because, we had like the midweek rental, because it was kind of like, that was like the slow period for the week. And then of course, everybody Friday night, hang out, blah, blah, blah. But you could get like 3 good horror movies, some Mountain Dew and some Fritos for less than $5.
Yeah, man. Those were the days, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And my cousin and I would go back and we would just watch these movies, and it would be like, let's try to freak each other out the most. Who's going to be
stay up and like,
yeah.
Exactly.
Who's scared, all that stuff.
That was the best.
I still remember first time we watched Night of the Demons.
Oh wow, there you go.
Yeah, that was like pushing it. But now looking back, you're like, we got Kenny Levels in the house. Happy early birthday, my friend. Yeah, ultimate horror masterpiece.
It's a pretty fairly accurate statement.
He knew how to put together a movie, regardless of the genre, and
We could
this
have
was
we could
just.
have an entire episode on Stanley Kubrick, right? So
Oh, I'm thinking about it. Not even like
I'm on.
it's almost too easy to do rankings. I want to get into like the deep stuff,
I was
like
gonna say I wouldn't rank. I would just go into the details of how he makes film, right? That's
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Shining, one of the best movies, transcends the
There
genre.
you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could say the same thing about everybody's talking about Exorcist now because of recent physical media release, but there's levels to that movie that you don't expect.
So what I'll tell Shining fans out there, if you haven't, watch a documentary called Room 237. Okay. Now, yeah, you're giving the applause. I watched it maybe 10 years ago when it came out, and I was left scratching my head. It was too much conspiracy theory stuff for me, honestly. But I've been watched pieces of it again in the last like 6 months, and I'm kind of enjoying it more because I like to do documentary stuff also. So
Hmm.
I'm starting to appreciate it more. But for the first time I saw it was way out there. But if you want to see more about this in that movie, then watch Room 237. Yeah.
Yeah, I the first time I watched it, I did the worst thing. I watched The Shining, then I watched that right afterwards
Oh, really?
in full, and I was like, "This is too much."
Right. I never thought
But
about that.
but you're right. If you take it in pieces, chunks,
Yeah.
little things like that, for sure.
Yeah. The whole moon
What's
landing stuff, and I just went,
Yeah, it gets bonkers. It really does. What's up, lady? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. If I skip you in the chat, it's because my phone is like saying, "Bro, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm trying to stay with you."
it's trying.
Yeah, it's like skipping up, skipping down. Somebody chats something, it just goes somewhere else. My man Nick in the house. Catch you on the replay, my friend. Thanks for checking in. He's getting up to go and deliver some good drinks to everybody. So
Right.
appreciate that. Melissa says, good documentary to make you
Mhm.
think outside the box. Yeah,
Absolutely.
because there's so many movies that people just take at face value, and
Yeah.
you're talking about auteurs here. They don't create on a simple level. They, like you said, levels to it. Levels.
Lots.
Couple more comments before we get into the good stuff here.
There was a
What?
great line. Rob Zombie's like one of my heroes, and he's
Yeah.
a great line he had once where he said, "The Shining is the movie where people who say I don't really like horror movies, but I love The Shining." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's kind of that scary film that everybody can kind of watch. I guess.
Yeah. It's so much to it. Jordo, real quick, says rewatched 237 recently. Ridiculous, but some of the points.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah, it's
I mean,
true.
It's interesting to watch, right?
Yeah, really. I Do you know Mika and Kira, the twins double feature podcast?
Do I know? I do not.
Okay, get to know them. They make excellent guests on
Ooh,
your.
all right.
Check them out tomorrow if you want to
Yes.
come back tomorrow night. They'll be
Inst-
on the conversation with me.
Instagram will find you soon. Yes.
Yeah, but to hear that a horror movie unnerves them, yeah,
I like that.
that's special.
That's a good thing.
That is special. All right. This is where, for most of these conversations, we're going to kind of circle and hang out and spend some time because we want to talk movies. So I put the question to Matt and I said, hey, name some of your favorite spooky or creepy movies. That's kind of like the theme this year. So he lined up a couple for us to talk about, and I'll let him get started.
All right. So I can give you, I gave you 5 I thought of that were really good ones that I liked, ones that I don't love so much. I'll tell you about them later.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you want, I can give you a list too of what I think are like favorites, though. Also, these aren't necessarily favorites, right? There's just so many of them, right?
Right.
The ones I was thinking about, I kind of ran the gamut, right? So I went, let's start as old as we possibly can, right? White Zombie, okay? Name my favorite band of all time, but it's a movie, White Zombie, right?
Yeah.
Bela Lugosi's in it, and it's 1932. What I like, if the movie's like an hour and 7 minutes long, right? It is like a television show. It's so short. What I like about it though is that it is a zombie. It's one of the first ones. It's a zombie film that, we all know zombies are The Walking Dead and Dawn of the Dead, right? And they're slow
Yeah.
and they run around, they eat your brains, right? they come from like an end of the world scenario. But these are the zombies that we've heard about, like in Haiti and African like voodoo, right? That are
Mm-hmm.
human beings that aren't dead, but they are undead because of a spell or a potion someone gave them, right? And that's what this film is about. And it's
Yeah.
also kind of about class and about race a little bit too in there because it's
Mm-hmm.
a plantation farmer and how that goes. So, but I hadn't seen it in forever, and I watched it again recently. Is it great? No. Lugosi's scary. I mean, he's great. He has those eyes. That you
The
just,
eyes. It's all in the
oh.
eyes.
And that scene is so famous. Those eyes is so great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's. I think it's good to watch because of that. Reason that it's that old, original zombie voodoo, whatever you want to say, old-fashioned zombie kind of thing, like the origin of zombies, right?
Yeah.
Another one that I thought of. How about The Omen, right?
Mm.
So,
Well,
19...
even before we go there, let's
Okay, yeah.
let's
stay on
circle
that?
on White Zombie for a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah.
So today, October 1st, 55 years ago, we have Night of the Living Dead. For, I don't know, I would say like casual moviegoers, that was probably their first interaction with hearing like the zombie subgenre for the
Absolutely.
most part.
For sure.
So to throw something at them like White Zombie and tell them that Lugosi made this like right after Dracula, and it's like the beginning of the talkies and all that good stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking for, like you said, the brain eating and the
Right.
slow movements and all that,
Right.
but it is closer to the cultural history definition of zombies. And my parents are from the Caribbean, so
Oh,
we
yeah.
grew up hearing stories about this. And my wife always laughs at me because I talk about jumbies, which is like monster spirits
Mm-hmm.
coming to like steal or kill children at night and all kind of craziness.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see a movie. Was it an American movie? I don't even know, but
Yes, it is. I believe it is.
yeah, but to see a movie like that tackles it in such a way that's like, I don't want to say accurate because it's a tale, but at the same time in a way true to tradition. How about that?
Yeah. Yes.
And
That's right.
yeah, like you said, not exactly a 5-star, but at the same time, it's good to go back and see that it goes a lot further back than late 60s.
That's right. That's exactly right. And because you know what, these are the origin films, right? These are the ones that started stuff. So it's like, you got to know, where you came from to be where you are now, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to find out that Romero knew about that stuff and
Oh, I
had seen that and did his research. Whether it's Haitian, Dominican, South African cultures to find out all that stuff and contribute that to his interpretation of a zombie or the undead.
because
So,
that's what we have now is Romero's the one you thank for that, but yeah, this is this voodoo stuff. I mean, this goes on like how much of it you want to believe, whatever, but this is the stuff that goes on in real life, right? Like a great line I heard about voodoo once is voodoo is everywhere but nowhere at the same time.
mhm,
I thought that was pretty good.
nice. And for some reason, when I was watching it, Serpent and the Rainbow came to mind.
I'm glad you said. I was gonna throw it in there. Thank
Yeah,
you for
man.
bringing that up. We did an episode on that. I read the book. The book is fantastic. It's not a textbook, but it's like it really explains how to make. It actually tells you how to make zombie potion. So I'm not gonna tell you to go
Oh,
do
wow.
that. But yeah. And the movies, it's not bad. Haiti always seems to have unfortunately these political issues and so much with their governments, and that's a part of that movie even back then.
Hmm.
Yeah, Serpent and the Rainbow is great. That's a good
Yeah, that's one when it came out spooked me. So
one. Oh yeah.
I'll say that
Oh
much.
yeah.
Just scrolling through the comments real quick. I miss my second screen right about now because I'd had the comments on one screen and but it's all good. It's all good. Gunchi, good reference, man.
Walked with
I
a
walked
zombie.
with a zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Val
That's a good one.
Luton. Wow. Yeah. Good one. Good reference. Good reference. All right. You started talking about it. Just moving on, and I saw that you you rented it for some research. So
Okay. That was the one I posted. Yeah. All right.
yeah.
So this was the one. It ain't scary. I can tell you that. But I remember when I was a kid. This is one of the ones I used to was the movie Critters. All right.
Mm.
I feel like I probably hadn't watched this movie in 30 years since I was a kid, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, there were like four of them, and I used to watch them all the time. And I rented the first one on demand again, and I mean, it was not great, but it's got Dee Wallace in it. Who, if you know your horror, you love Dee Wallace, of course.
Cujo. Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on, right?
Yeah.
But it's a interesting movie. You know, little furry monsters come from space, and bounty hunters come to get them, and they run amok in a farm in Kansas.
Fake town in Kansas. I live in Kansas City. That is not on the map.
No, it's not. But that's always the movie that if you watch like those like horror maps, what's the best, name the best horror film from each state. I think Critters is usually the one in Kansas, isn't it? Right there?
Yeah. It's dead center USA.
Yes. I definitely remember loving this when I was like 10 or 12, a lot more than I am now. But I mean, you know what? They're little and tiny, but they're scary. And I would not want one of those things coming after me. I can tell you that.
Hell no.
No, no, I really
And
would.
they grow.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other movie sequels is where like it really gets gnarly and nasty. And
Yeah.
you know what? This is one that was fun to just dig up in the archives and watch again, right?
Yeah. I had a fun time with the rewatch on this one because it's so weird. I take it VHS era, early DVD
Oh
days.
God, yeah.
It's like you go through so many of these movies, especially like you say with the 99-cent specials, that you kind of gather your favorites, and then the other ones you tend to like, especially sequels. It's hard to remember bad sequels unless you revisit them time and time again. But bringing this up again, I was like, oh my gosh, how many times did I watch this? It was so bad it was
I
good.
used to watch them all the time. Yes, all the time.
So bad it's good.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, it's a good story, but it's so cheesy.
Yeah.
It's so
You know what?
cheesy.
Here's some. I swear to the house they live in, the farmhouse. Is
Mhm.
that the house from Leprechaun? That the old guy. I swear to God, it's the same house. It's a
Put it in the chat if you think so.
It's a movie house. It's probably a house in California. It very well could be the exact. It probably is the same house. I remember watching and thinking, that looks just like the house from another awful creature movie, Leprechaun.
Yeah, but I could see like sound stages reusing like a house or whatever.
Yeah.
And the funny thing that I thought of is if you've seen the movie, I'm not giving anything away, but if you've seen the movie, you say to yourself, well, couldn't you put it back the way it was supposed to be, like brand new, instead of like the way it was? But I don't know. There were just silly things to it.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I was glad I watched it again. I was happy with it. It was definitely worth my $4.
Yeah. Let's check in with the chat real quick. Yeah, Curtis is a fun time. It was a fun rewatch. And that's the thing.
You gotta get someone to bring it up. Like you forget about it until someone mentions it. Oh, Critters.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's like, especially being physical media collectors and all that, when you see a re-release, like I mentioned, Night of the Demons, so the 3 just came out on physical. So you're going to have a lot of people discovering it or watching it for the first time since DVD, VHS days, whatever it is. But it's like you need that reason to bring it back out. Because I don't know about you, I'm so busy discovering and watching new films. It's hard to go back sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, trying to watch. I mean, none of us are ever going to be able to watch all these movies ever. It's just not going to happen, right?
No.
So yeah,
We've got to come to grips with that.
it's a constant. Yeah, it goes on forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Ken with the reference here. Critters 2,
man.
best Easter movie.
Now I'm gonna have to start watching these sequels again because, like, yeah, I got to go back. Oh,
Oh
boy.
my gosh.
Here we
Hit
go.
me up in April with that
Yeah,
comment
we're gonna
again,
have it all.
Kenny.
Critters, here we go. Yeah. And,
I saw somebody else check in. James from 20th and 21st Movies. Yeah. 21 Days of Horror is here. Never seen Critters. Yeah, check it out. It's a fun, corny time.
yeah,
It is. And yeah, it is fun.
it is.
Oh my gosh, stop it, Ken. Stop.
And what is it? And Emmett Walsh. What the actor?
Yes.
He's been in so much stuff. He's in it. So yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have you have two pretty well-known folks in that film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's funny because all the local townspeople, it's almost as like they are a part of the background,
Mm-hmm.
and you keep returning to this family. So
Right.
it's really interesting. Just once again, everyone, thank you for checking in. Thank you for joining us. Feel free, just the chat is yours. Have fun in it. If you have any questions for Matt, as we're going through this, or you just want to talk about the movies with us, feel free. We're just hanging out, having fun, so
Rambling.
enjoying it. The other one I saw you rent was, and I thought this is where you were going, was The Omen.
Yeah. Okay. So totally The Omen.
Let's go there.
1976. Now, yeah, this is the original Omen. I'm not talking about the 2006 remake.
Nah,
Forget that.
we don't talk about that.
1976. Gregory Peck, Lee Remick. I like this movie, and this was something that it was not well liked at all. People use the word like laughable and silly and corny with it as the word they use with it. I think it's pretty scary, and I think the thing about it is all the stuff that you know now about 666 and the devil's coming and the end of the world. You can thank this movie for that, quite frankly. That stuff really wasn't around back then. The whole Book
Yeah.
of Revelations and all this stuff, and the 666, like I said, the tattoo in the kid's head, the mark of the beast. Unless you were a very religious person and knew about that and read about that, you mainstream probably didn't know about that.
Yeah.
This movie is the reason where a lot of that is there now that you know about that. I
Mhm.
like it. I think the idea of, now again, we don't spoil on this show, but I
I
the
appreciate
idea,
that.
the idea that this little boy, is the devil is pretty crazy. Working with little kids, actors is always, what do they say? Three things: don't work on a boat with pets and with kids, I guess they say. But
Yeah.
he was good, and after this, you better not name your kid Damien. You forget
No,
that,
it's amazing how things come along, and it's like,
right?
okay, we're not naming our child Adolf anymore.
No, no, that was a long time ago. Yeah, Damien, yeah, nah, not so much. They made a lot of sequels to this, but I like The Omen, and it's got some pretty memorable. It has two really good memorable death scenes, which again we won't ruin. You don't have to watch them, but I like it. I do like this movie. I think it's pretty spooky. I definitely watched it. So this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
They released the remake on June 6th, 2006.
Oh gosh. Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't go see it. I watched the original then, and then I watched it again on June 6th, 2016. So now, a couple more years, we can do it again on June 6th, 2026, right?
There you go. Keep it moving.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it's a good. It's kind of gothic horror too, right? A little bit, kind of thing too.
Mhm.
It happens.
Even if you listen to the music, I think that was the direction they were going in.
I was gonna say that
Yeah.
song Ave Satani by that orchestra is
Hmm.
spooky as all get out. That is
Yep.
some terrifying music. Oh my goodness gracious! I went to see an amazing like candlelight thing last year around this time in DC, and they did an orchestra, and they did all the scary movie themes. They did The Exorcist. They did The Omen, like Ghostbusters. All these songs, all on strings and instruments, live, and it was amazing. It was amazing. I forget, it was through Fever, I guess, Fever events or whatever they do, and this
Yeah.
was incredible. And they did The Omen, and I was thrilled. Really, very
Yeah.
cool.
All you
Yeah.
got to do is add some minor keys, and it gets creepy real quick.
So good. It's so good.
Oh man, that must have been an experience.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Oh yeah.
So two ways I want to go with this. One of them, and this could go back to what we were just talking about, the physical media release or lack thereof. Like you, it was hard to find a streaming service or a copy of it, unless you're gonna like go out and get a DVD or a Blu-ray, whatever, or you
Yeah.
already have it.
Yeah.
But why do you think it's that Damien, unless you know the movie as a classic horror movie, is not held in the same respect as, let's say, a Reagan or other horror villains that came after Damien?
I don't know. That's a great question. I guess held in respect as, I guess, okay, so Reagan's a good example. As in that people don't find him scary enough, or
You don't hear people buzzing the same way about it.
yeah. That is a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, well, maybe because of the way that like for instance, Exorcist. That was people had visceral reactions to that film, right? They were like going to church and praying, and like people were crazy.
Mhm.
Right? I think this one was kind of different, where they made it, this was viewed as more trash, is the best word I could come up with. I know the church was not happy about this. That I know. So it was kind of like The Exorcist kind of became this like we're almost painting the church in a better way. Like, hey, these priests came and saved this girl. Where it's like, this kid is this evil, blasphemous antichrist.
Antichrist, yeah.
Making us look bad. I guess that may. But for a villain, what better villain is that though, right? Because Reagan's not the villain; the demon's the villain in the movie, right? So I guess that's maybe the best thing I can come up with. Yeah.
Yeah. Needless to say, the 4K dropped recently, and went back, watched everything before the 4K just to do like transfer comparisons, all that good stuff in my head. But I went back and watched and read reviews, and I think it was just the virtual shock of a movie like that.
Yeah.
The number one comment that I remember was someone saying, "This is the scariest thing since Psycho." So you're talking the difference of 13 years. They haven't seen anything that's shocking
But that's
in 13
because
years.
Remember, The Exorcist was out 3 years previous to this, so that's or 2 years previous. So that's pretty interesting. That's a bold statement, as they say, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
What's up, King? Holocaust 2000, another great
not seen
Antichrist. Me neither. Absolutely nothing but fun.
Started
Kirk Douglas.
Okay,
Wow.
now we're going back.
You got my interest now.
Yeah, we hit the rewind machine on that one.
Good one, Gunji. I gotta check that out. But yeah, I think it was the recency, and I think still by the time Omen came out, people were still in shock from The Exorcist, because you have to imagine back then, like we talk about like Top Gun Maverick and Barbie. If a movie is making money in the box office, it stays in the box office. That's how we operate today. Back then, a movie was scheduled to stay in the theater 6 months, 9 months, be re-released 18 months later, because you weren't going to see it any other way.
No, well, there was. I mean, I can't imagine not having V8 release. That would. Oh, it'd be awful. Because some of his movies, they got lost to history because of that. Quite frankly, they never got released on any other medium ever again, and they disappeared. Unless you saw it 50 years ago, 40 years ago somewhere, you may not ever see it again.
Yeah, you have original copies that move from theater to theater.
Yeah,
still on nitrate, so that's gone.
Amazing.
But then somebody preserved it in some theater in Brazil or something like that, and that's how they find it and make OCN, transfers for some Vinegar Syndrome 4K that comes out next month. So it's crazy.
Wild.
But The Omen is worth like going back, do on demand and stream it, because there are elements to that movie that I think you still don't see today. You still don't.
Religious horror, it's not for everyone. It can go into a lot of different, thoughts, and you're going to get in trouble making one of them. Not in trouble, but you're going to get a lot of pushback when you make you're going to get a lot of heat making a movie like that. So because
it's still not in the vein of like The Nun or Nun 2 or anything in The Conjuring. It's a lot deeper, lot more personal.
Yeah.
It hits closer to home for a lot of people.
And you had two big, Lee Remick and Gregory Peck in this movie, who were not
serious actors.
They were real actors. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
We do have a question for you, and that'll give us a little break in talking about these movies. So Jordo wants to know, what's a horror remake you really love, if not favorite?
All right. Let's see. What do I really like? I really do like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
Which one?
2003.
Okay.
I did like that because Chainsaw is one of my favorite films. And I wasn't sure. I was very hyped for this. I enjoy it. Now, I was not as hyped as I was crazy hyped for the Halloween remake because Rob Zombie made it, and Halloween's one of my favorite films. I was just like amped beyond belief for that to come out. And you look back, it's been like 15 years. It's crazy now. I don't love that, but yeah, I guess Chainsaw was pretty good. I liked it. I did like that. I think maybe one will come to me the more I think about it, but that's my easy, quick answer.
Nice. I'm here trying to think of mine, but I can't think of one. Maybe I'll think of one on Tuesday. That's a little tease.
Here's a question for you then. How about they consider the most pointless remake of all time? What are your thoughts on the Psycho remake that Gus Van Sant did? Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
For one, I'm surprised it was Gus Van Sant because it could have easily been Brian De Palma because he's a Hitchcock hack. He has his movies, but when he's trying to do Hitchcock, he's a hack. I'm a purist. I like Hitchcock. I love Hitchcock movies. So yes, if you're gonna do something storyboard shot for shot and just modernize it and put it in color, you brought nothing to the table for me. It was pointless.
Yeah,
That's the word I use for it.
That's
Pointless.
most people. That's the word most people use for it. Yeah.
I have
do
a
like
decent sized collection. I don't have that movie.
I did like Vince Vaughn as Norman Bates. I thought he was funny. I thought he was good.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, pointless.
A couple more comments here. People are coming through. Lutola Moore. What's up, my man? For me, The Exorcist is just a better movie than Omen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that when it comes down to it, I never
It's the
cared.
horror film that's always going to get the love. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
TCM 03 is one of the best horror remakes.
Okay, Night of the Living Dead remake. I was just thinking about that too. Yeah,
that's a good call. Savini
Yep.
did a great job with that.
That was with Tony Todd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
We have a little thing going on, and you could blast me too. I'm not even going to try to explain it. I'll save that for Tuesday. But I've never seen Candyman. I know.
Oh man.
I know. It's been taken care of,
It's so good.
but within the community, that has been one of those. I don't believe you've never seen ...
The music in Candyman is so good. It's so good. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
have my reasons.
I haven't seen the remake, so I'm still waiting to see that one. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
You tell me what you think when you do,
Yeah, I do. One of these, I need to see it sooner.
because I've heard things, but I got to check it out too now that Candyman is behind me. Another one saying that the remake is fun. So the first TCM, dug it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it in years. Oh, you got it on a groove sale. Yeah, the price has dropped. So if you want that 4K, definitely could do it now.
It was Platinum Dunes was the production company, and they were making these horror remakes on a certain budget. So they were doing TCM, and they did Nightmare on Elm Street, and they did Friday the 13th, right? So they were doing that stuff, and they did good jobs. They're not great films, okay, but I think it was cool that they were doing them. You know, remakes are polarizing. Some people say great, some people say what's the point? Why are we regurgitating this crap?
Yeah.
But like you said, it's to make money, it's to make movies. So it is what it is. Take it or leave it. You know, it's going to
Yeah.
be there. Remakes are a part of that's just the way it is.
Couple more comments before we get back into it. King Judge, foreign religious horror hits different than U.S. ones. Seem to have more of a touch. Yeah, fear of evil, especially when you grew up within the church.
I saw some Italian exorcism film, maybe one or two of them years ago. They were very strange. But okay, to that point, I guess, yeah.
Johnny says, got up and walked out of the theater 9 a.m.
You are
I
not
don't
the
blame
only
you.
one, I'm sure.
Nope.
I'm sure.
Never a big Omen fan. Tried at least 3 times throughout my life. Just
the
can't get
great
it.
line. It's all for you, Damien. Not the way to go. Love it. Great scene.
Oh, but you have to understand this about Ken. Ken at Mid-Level Media, he is
Omen 2.
a sequel whore. That's what I'm just going to call him. He's a sequel whore. He is part 2 or part 3 over part 1 when everybody loves part 1. It's all good, Kenny. We love you.
What I was just saying, how excited I was for Rob Zombie's Halloween. The reality is, I like his part 2 better. Actually, I like his sequel better.
See, the two of you could have fun just talking sequel talk.
There
I
you
think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
My man Laren in the house. Never late, my friend. Jump in where you fit in. Everybody's saying hi to Laren. Michael says I recommend the original Candyman.
Oh, I've never met Virginia. I've been to many, many horror shows, but I have not met Virginia Madsen. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he has he worked in movie theater, so he met a lot of people and he has a lot of autographs too.
Oh,
So
I have so many autographs are sitting in plastic bags. I don't have anywhere to put them.
that's awesome. Tolo says, "Don't
There we
feel
go.
bad. We all have gaps in our movie watching, of course.
Oh no!
Never seen Scarface, Godfather, or any of the Friday the 13th. Somebody lend him your Scream Factory box set and just let him go through. those Friday the
I'm
13th.
about to ship you my DVDs. Come on.
Oh, okay. This might have been my answer.
That's great. That's
That's a
great.
solid answer.
That is a very yes. Excellent. Excellent. With Oliphant, right?
Timothy, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent movie. Yes.
Good
Yes.
call, Jordan.
Good answer.
Good call.
That is a good one. That is a good one.
Ken is striking back at my comment. Not true. I would not put. Nobody would put Exorcist 2 over the original.
All right. Now, one thing.
And there are Dream Warrior fans over number
Okay.
one. I'm not one of them.
I'm gonna
And
say
I'm not
one thing.
accusing you of that.
I'm gonna say one thing right now. I'm gonna be very blunt about this. Exorcist 2 is a piece of garbage.
You
And
can
it
say
is-
what you want.
It is regarded as maybe the worst movie. It is actually regarded as one of the worst films ever made. It is a piece of trash. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to mix words about that. Now, 3,
3
I
is
find to be a
great.
vastly underrated film. 3 is fantastic.
Yeah, I go 1-3. I don't even mess with 2.
Oh God. Now, if you want to just waste your time for an hour and a half, give it a watch. But
Yeah.
ooh,
Mm-mm.
it's rough.
James has one more question. Everybody else with the comments, we'll come back to it. One more question from James, then we'll get back into these movies. He wants to know your favorite modern horror movie of the last 10 years.
Oh man. Okay, 10 years.
And it's weird because 10 years is 2013.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
So this may okay. God, that's a quick. I mean, I gotta come up with it quickly. It's probably The Witch, I guess.
That's up there for me.
It's pretty good, and then, but judging by the year it was made, I don't remember the year. There's a film we can talk later if you The Black Coat's Daughter. It's amazing. That may have been 2012 though. I don't know.
That might be hovering right there.
But yeah, I'll give those two for now.
Yeah, that movie, I was watching it. You know, sometimes you're watching a movie in the background, you're not fully paying attention. That movie made me sit up and pay attention to it.
Yes. You know what else is great? Doctor Sleep.
Oh, yeah.
The Shining sequel. It's excellent. And the
Yep.
book was wonderful. The movie is very good.
Both the book and the movie gave both the Shining movie fans and the Shining book fans exactly what they wanted.
It was that love letter of like, this is the end of it. It's
Yeah.
perfect. Oh yeah.
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 Excellent.
More to come later this month on Doctor Sleep because we got to talk about that movie sometime this month.
Have you? Yeah.
All right. So we are focusing on some of your favorite spooky, creepy movies. What else do you have here?
All right. I had two others I want to talk about.
Yeah.
We can just, I'll name them. We can just do them both at this time. I got to name them.
Yeah.
People Under the Stairs is a sleeper. And then 30 Days of Night.
Yeah.
Vampire, a different kind of vampire film, right?
Mhm.
So People Under the Stairs, Wes Craven.
Weird time for him.
Yeah. So the kid from the Mighty Ducks, by the way, I forget his name. He's trying to
And the Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial.
there you go. Oh, Brandon something? Is it Brandon something? Adam? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's in it, and his mom's. I can give a whole recap here, but
Yeah.
he needs to pay some bills, and they're going to this house that these landlords have in LA, I guess, and it's this strange setup, and there's just some weird, you know what, going on in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people, a guy in a leather suit living inside the walls. There's cannibals living in the basement. The movie's about a lot more things.
Yeah.
And then 30 Days a Night was a cool vampire film that I hadn't seen something like that before. It was a
Mhm.
comic originally, and they made it into a film. The vampires had their own language, and the cool thing is it's set in, like, I love Alaska, and I love
Alaska.
one of my favorite TV shows is Life Below Zero, and it's set in Alaska. But anyone who knows Alaska knows about Barrow, and it's this northernmost town in Alaska where 30 Days of Night takes place, where the vampires move in once the sun sets for the last time for 30 days. Sun rises, I should say, and they run amok in the town, right? It's polar night, right? The sun doesn't like really just not come up. It sort of covers over the horizon if you know how winter is in Alaska because you're above the Arctic Circle, whatever. So, and those were two that I hadn't seen in a minute until I watched them recently again. I like them both a lot.
Yeah.
30, People Under the Stairs has some more, political and societal messages in it, right? Whereas
Mhm.
30 Days a Night is really just like, hey, here's some vampires killing people. I don't know.
That's actually one of my favorite modern, kind of going off the last questions, modern vampire films.
Yeah,
Because when I first saw it, I was like, what a brilliant idea.
yeah,
And
it's great.
then
It's
just
good.
to compare it between the two movies to People Under the Stairs, it takes genre wise, it takes so many twists and turns. I'm going to have to come back and talk to some, once again with someone else this month about this because it's it's a simple film,
Mm,
but it's a complex setup of a simple film. I mean, you can talk about so many different things. Like you mentioned, there's a race element, there's a social, economic element,
oh yeah.
but then you throw in things like child abuse,
Oh my God.
BDSM,
Oh yeah.
all these different things.
Incest. I mean, in reading,
Yeah.
it's got all those pieces to it.
And
And
it's
again, it
all in
came
a
from,
Wes Craven movie,
but that's the thing. Wes Craven, of
written
course,
and directed.
got the idea right from reading an article about these burglars that found these kids. His stuff always comes from these things. He like Nightmare on Elm Street. That's
Nightmare
where
on Elm Street.
he
Yeah.
always gets these ideas by reading what's really, really happening in the world. Like it's not made
Yeah.
up. You know, it's crazy.
Kind of like can you believe this really happened? I'm
Yes,
going to make it into a movie.
yes, and he does it, and he did it. He did a great job with it when he did that. It was amazing.
So I have to give you this one thing to think about.
Mm.
There is also a little bit, and it comes at you really left of center. There's a little bit of slapstick comedy in this movie, and I'm not going to get into it, of course. But 1991, this movie comes out.
People under the stairs. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. What was the biggest film of 1990?
Well, God, I love me some Goodfellas. That came out in 1990.
It's my favorite up there. But
Yeah.
do you remember a little film called Home Alone?
Oh, who doesn't love Home Alone? Right?
You could actually see the influence of this uber popular movie
Interesting.
on, and I mean, once again, everything leading up to People Under the Stairs, not his best work. And then he does this, and then what follows that is, I guess, would that be Dream Master or New Nightmare?
Oh, I don't know how many he did New Nightmare. He didn't do a lot of those sequels, so I think for him it would
So
have
it
been,
was New Nightmare.
which was 95 maybe then.
Yeah, it was a few years after People
Yeah.
Under the Stairs, but I think it was his next
Mhm.
written directed movie.
sounds right.
So it was just a kind of a weird conduit movie to get to,
You know
back
what?
to Freddie and that lifestyle and everything.
Every movie's about something else, right? But
Yeah.
if a guy, director wants to speak their voice about a topic or something, that's he wanted to talk about this. Go for it, man. Like
Hmm.
sometimes it may bomb out. It may not be what you want it to be, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't take creative and do what you think, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, hit or
Very
miss.
true. But those are some good choices. When I saw your list, I was like,
Yeah.
I like diversity.
You put me in a spot
my
where it's
choice.
like pick 5, and I'm just like, how can I possibly?
And how do I just talk about
Oh,
these movies
man.
and nothing else? There's always going to be tangents.
Right?
Suspect that. They're killing it in the chat right now. These comments is just amazing. Suspiria remake. People are
There you go.
divisive on that.
We
People
did
are
an
very
episode
divisive on
We
that.
did our episode on the original. I have not seen the
Mhm.
remake.
Check it out.
Okay.
Check it out. And if you just want to talk about it, we could definitely just
Yeah.
chop it up in the chat or whatever. But yeah, check it out. It follows really good.
Okay, so a dark song. Is that the one? Oh,
Mhm.
okay. I wrote an article about. I do a monthly article too, and I did one on It Follows. It Follows is really 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 good.
Yeah.
And then a dark song, I believe, was a pick. I think that my co-host Tara wanted us to do, and I think we did that one, and I think it was really interesting. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Good choices. There's some love for Black Coat's
Coast,
daughter.
I'm telling you, that movie is fantastic. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness.
Yeah.
Which-
I'll put it up there, Ken, which
good.
is the best horror film. Definitely the best goth horror film
It's pretty good.
of the 21st century. Some love for Dr. Sleep.
Mm,
It is the truth.
Yeah.
Good and expanded on the Shining universe. Definitely.
absolutely.
More love. Ooh, interesting. Best horror
Wolfman.
remake, Wolfman.
I did
Great
see that.
makeup.
I liked
Great
it.
makeup. I
Benicio
will
del
say that.
Toro. Yeah, I did like that.
hmm
Yeah.
This is also something I see a lot of people starting to say now, because the more and more you get away from it, like, people start to tend to be like more of the book fans, and they're like, I didn't like the movie as much, which I'm like, how can you not like The Shining? But
Hey, he sure didn't like it, and he wrote it. So
yeah, but more people liking Doctor Sleep over Shining. Boo, 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 boo. It's fun. Renfield was fun.
I didn't see that. Okay, I haven't seen
It's
that.
it's ridiculous fun. What I liked about 30 Days of Night, they didn't romance.
Great point. Because you know
Yes.
what? I love.
Yes.
We all love Bram Stoker's Dracula, right? I hope
Mhm.
everyone does. He's this count that's irresistible, and everyone wants him. And the reality is, I've said on this show with my friend Bill, who comes on, is vampires, and they're disgusting undead creatures with their skin falling off. They're not these romanticized counts from Eastern Europe. They're that. So your point right there is right on. That's exactly.
He got off the Demeter, and he was like grotesque.
Yeah, they're undead, nasty monsters. That's right.
What's up, Caveman? Thanks for checking in. Appreciate you. All right, let's bang through these last three questions, and we'll land this plane.
What you got?
All right. So number 3, name a horror movie that everybody loves, but you can't stand. This is
Okay.
everybody's favorite question, by the way.
I will give you 2.
Okay.
One is Evil Dead, because
Excuse me?
Yeah, Evil Dead. See? I think it's because I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm working on doing an episode with someone on it, so this may change. But as of now, that is my one. Or you can go to my website, hilltopvideos.com, and you can read my monthly review this month on Scream. I respect Scream for what it does. I do not love it. So those are my 2.
Okay. I just got to follow up on that.
All right.
Do you think, just looking at what was going on mid-90s into the 2000s, that it quote unquote saved the genre?
All right, so that's kind of in my article. A lot of that is, like I said, I respect it for what it did, right? And Wes Craven, we love him; he's great. But
R.I.P.
But I don't. I wouldn't say I can't stand it, but I definitely, when I'm done watching, I'm like, I don't know.
So everyone, that podcast is the Scary Movie Project. Make sure and check it out for more hot takes like this.
I can't love everything. I mean, you know what?
It's true.
I gush over a lot of stuff, but I can't like everything.
It's true. It's true. Number 4, name a horror movie that needs more love.
Okay, I saw somebody. Well, I just talked about The Blackcoat's Daughter.
Yeah, that definitely needs more love.
That movie oozes like demonic entity, like just, oh my God. I think when I saw someone talking about it the other day, Ravenous. Yeah, there's a movie called Ravenous. It is awesome.
Tell me about it.
Okay. It is set in the, after the Spanish, oh my God, I'm going to mess this up. Spanish Civil War, maybe, I don't remember. And then this guy gets sent to a base. He's a coward. He survives a battle, and he gets sent out to the Sierra Nevadas to run this camp in the middle of nowhere. And there's some cannibalism going on, and it is wild. The music is amazing. The acting is crazy. It's so tongue in cheek, like it's fabulous. It was one of the first episodes we did on our show. Actually, it was one of our first 5 episodes, I think. I love it. 1999, 2000, maybe. I don't think it gets enough love. It's very unique, and it's very good. And Blackcoat's Daughter is, love that.
Yeah. If you guys heard of that one, drop a comment in the chat. I'll be checking it out. Maybe not this month. I got a lot of movies to watch, but definitely. One more check into the comments before we come up with the answer for. Wait a minute. Yeah, till we get to number 5. Keeps going out of place. Here we go. I see some New Nightmares.
One more French movie. It's called High Tension.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Yes.
Yeah. I watched that within the last month.
The ending of that is crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's about to come out on Second Sight. They're giving it the 4K treatment.
Oh,
Should be
nice.
fun.
Very cool.
Okay, so here we go. These comments ones are fun. Here we go. So the couple in People Under the Stairs, also the couple in Twin
Yes!
Peaks.
Yes, that is right. Thank you. Big Ed, and Nadine, right? Yes.
Good call, Aaron. Good
Yes,
call.
Oh, that is. Oh my goodness. Yes, Twin Peaks, and what a great show. My God.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Big Ed and Nadine. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
How did I forget to mention that? What am I doing?
Was Guy Pearce in Ravenous?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's it. Yep. Guy Pearce.
All right. Yeah, some love for High Tension.
Mhm.
So ready for that second sight set. Yeah. I need some distance from it because, like I said, I just watched it. And I was talking with my friend Stephanie. She has a channel called Movie Chatter. Just about it because the way they initially released it was in English,
Mm,
like an all English sub. And then some of the Blu-rays that came out
I don't know.
had it subtitle, but then some parts of the movie was still in English. It's like all of a sudden it was just like they were just talking English. Like, yeah. So I want to see it native format, native. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Haven't seen People in the Stairs. I imagine Nadine isn't complaining about. No, she has some other things she complains about.
That
Quite
is
a few.
one. That is a good
Quite
one.
a few.
That
Good
is great.
reference. Good
Yeah,
reference.
Curtain Runners. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
That's good.
All right. Thank you again to everyone hanging out in the chat. We're going to land this plane with question number 5. So now that you've done the conversation, man, number 5, who would you like to see me have a conversation with on this channel?
Right here, man. Oh my goodness. I don't know that I have the answer to that. I think anyone that you think you should have. Who's important, right? I'll give a shout out to my former co-host Tara Garwood at Terracotta Films. She just did a short film, and it's a great
Nice.
film, and she'd be great to have on. She'd like to talk to you about women making movies, which is awesome, which we need more
Yes.
of. I'll give her
Yes.
that plug. But you know what? Man, yeah, who else can we think? I don't know. I got to draw a blank on that one. I'd love to see people that, production folks that are. If you can get in touch with the production folks that made some of these, or were part of them, or part of new stuff, or indie stuff.
Yeah.
That's always awesome to have folks on that know the business, that know how to run sound, or he was the assistant editor for the film, or something like that. Or that's always cool for me because I love technical stuff because I like to make my own stuff too. That I like to see how that's made. So for me, that would be interesting for me as a viewer at least.
Nice. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. High Tension hits differently in French,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
And one more comment, definitely agree with the Scream movies being overrated. I gave the first one credit for reinvigorating the slasher genre,
Yeah, and they
but
just
after that,
made
I
another
roll
one,
unpredictable.
right? And they're making there's like 5 or 6 of them. I watched 2 and I realized it was the same film again, and I was done with that. It was the end of that for me.
As much, especially 90s kids, as much love as they give the Scream franchise, that was probably one of the more interesting answers I've gotten. So the great thing is that's what I love about that question. You never know what's coming out of. I've had people tell me my favorite movies are the ones they hate. I had to sit there and be like, mm-hmm.
I've heard plenty of people tell me, these movies are trash, and that's the great thing about the horror genre too, is that when these movies get released, they get no love. They're trashed by critics. What is this garbage? Who would make this? 30 years later, they're registered in the Library of Congress for culturally, aesthetically significant to our country. Oh, okay, thanks. Like
It's the building of a cult following.
Yep. So
Yeah. That's why we need movies that need more love to be mentioned, because they're not getting the following. I'll give you one, and this goes back to last year. This is my second year of doing spooky season conversations, and my guy Tony over at Basin Blues put me onto a movie called Marrowbone.
Never heard of it.
Early Mia Goth. There's 4 young actors in it. Of course, my mind's going blank right now. If someone knows the 4 character actors in Marrowbone, let me know. But great movie, plays a little bit like a mystery, plays a little bit like a ghost story, and it's just great acting performances around this little simple story that has a complex ending. And I always like surprise complex endings, so
Yeah, heck
it definitely works. Marrowbone,
Marrowbone.
check it out. Johnny, it's
Oh,
spooky season. No, hey,
oh,
this is day one of 31. We will get some Ghostbusters love in here. He will find you if you don't like Ghostbusters.
Talking about a movie I used to wear out on the VCR when I was a kid. Oh my God, Ghostbusters over and over and over again.
Put it this way, I could see the black case with the white inside on the VHS tape because I had like the dual VCR and I could hit play on either one because the one was for recording. I just kept Ghostbusters in one of them for like months. So
Ray Parker Jr., I mean,
thank you, my friend.
Is there a better song than, that for a movie? My God, really? So
yeah. And some would say it sounds like I need a new drug, but
hey, that's
he wrote it overnight.
Say what you want.
Apparently.
Say what you want. Right?
Loving this conversation. Thank you, Matt. That's my line. Thank you, Matt.
Right.
Consider me a new fan. That is a good transition to tell the people where they can find you.
Yep. TheScaryMovieProject.com. You can find me with my production stuff actually too at hilltopvideos.com. My email is on there too. That's my separate. But yeah, thescarymovieproject.com, at the Scary Movie Project there as well on Instagram. I'm mostly on there. I don't do a lot. I post to Facebook, but I don't do much of it. So if you want to find me, go to the website, I'm missing these up. The Scary Movie Project at gmail.com. Email me and come find me on Instagram on that handle that you see there. That's the best way to get a hold of me. But yeah, we got a bunch of episodes we're putting out now. We got a couple more for you guys coming up to end the wrap up the year, and then some cool stuff for the next year. If you're in the DC area later on this month, trying to do a tour of the Exorcist locations that I will self-guide you on, which is very exciting. So more to explain for that, but that is where you can find me. So
that is so awesome. So you're just gonna be taking people around Georgetown and like pointing out like different sites and everything.
Yep. Bunch of places on the campus, a couple of the bridge down the road, and then the stairs, of course. If you haven't been, to the stairs,
you gotta do the stairs.
Yeah.
So a little disclosure: I am in Minneapolis. My wife gave me a bucket list item for my birthday back in August, and we went to the Prince Museum and did the ultimate tour. Blah blah blah. But of course, while I'm here, I'm like, I gotta check out certain things. So today we walked over to First Avenue. And if you know Purple Rain and you know the importance of First Avenue, I like walked the wall of stars, and his is now in gold. And then I went and I crossed the street where he drove the motorcycle across, and I took a picture exactly like the scene from Purple Rain. So I've been geeking out for the last 3 days. It's been awesome.
So I, like most people, love the original 1989 Batman, Michael Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Prince did so much of that score. It's fabulous.
Yeah, we saw the studio where he made the Batman soundtrack and Party Man and Bat Dance and all that.
Yeah, that was great.
It's crazy. And the one thing I'll say one more thing before we end here. You don't realize, because it's a studio, it's 4 studios in that place, how many things were recorded there. Like, I'm looking at all the platinum plaques and everything, and I passed REM Out of Time.
Wow.
I'm like, why is there a platinum plaque here for that? And it's awarded to Paisley Park Studios. It was mixed and remastered there.
No kidding.
Yeah. And the whole wall is just different people, Replacements, Paula Abdul, all these different bands and acts, and it's just amazing. That's amazing. Cool.
Yeah, that's a bucket list. That definitely is.
What's up, Sal? This dude had me up till 2:00 saying 10 seconds over and over again. He does Whatnot auctions, and he had a party last night. Man, thank you everyone in the chat for joining us tonight. yeah, this was definitely fun. And like I said, this is one of 31, hopefully. We're going to have some pre-recorded ones. We're going to have a lot of live ones. Like I said, new guests like Matt, returning guests, just to do a little promotion, keep the party going. Tomorrow, we got the sisters joining us. We got Mika and Kara. I was just saying to Matt from the Double Feature podcast. We're going to do things a little bit different. You know, I know all these things about them. They were guests last year, so we're gonna remix it a little bit for the doubles. So please join us. Don't ask me the time. I'm going to say 7:00 Central, so 8 p.m. Eastern time. Join us. Come hang out. Catch a replay if you can, and tell somebody that we're doing this because I keep saying it's a daunting task. So I appreciate all the love and support.
That's right. It's all about that. Absolutely.
And Matt, once again, thank you. It was fun. It was a pleasure to finally hook up with you
Yes,
after
sir.
listening to your podcast, watching your podcast. So definitely keep in touch, and we will definitely do something together in the future because
You know
this
how to
is
find me. I'm always always
this is
up
too
for
easy.
something. I'm in
We could talk movies all day.
all day.
So
You know it.
everyone, have a good night.
Yes.
Go Kansas City. Enjoy Beyonce if you're there. So
Thank you, everybody.
night.